Prime Minister, do you think Nigel Farage is a racist?
No, nor do I think Reform voters are racist. They're concerned about things like our borders, they're frustrated about the pace of change. So I'm not for a moment suggesting that they are racist. I was talking about a particular policy and making a distinction, and a really important distinction in my mind, between deporting those who have no right to be here, illegally here, which this government is doing and I agree with, and on the other hand, reaching into migrants lawfully here who've been here for years, working in our hospitals, our schools, and deporting them.
Yes.
That, to me, would tear our country apart.
But why is it a racist policy to deport people who are legally living here if they don't meet high income and English language requirements? Many people would think that policy is reasonable, not racist. So why have you described it as racist?
Because these are people who are lawfully here, who've contributed to our society. They're working in our NHS, working in our schools. They're our neighbours. They have contributed and built their lives in this country.
Some can stay, but some might go.
But this goes to the heart of who we are as a country. I want to serve the whole of this country, this beautiful, tolerant, diverse country. The alternative, this toxic division, would tear apart who we are as a country, and that's why it's a really fundamental issue.
Do you think that he is caught in racist with this policy?
Well, look, I'm not going to start bandying.
Well, you called it a racist
policy. The policy.
So is he caught in racist with it?
I think the policy is racist. I think it's immoral, and I think I'll tell you, I've had so much sort of incoming communications about this. People from minorities in this country who feel more scared now than they've felt for years. It's sent a shiver down their throat. It has said to communities who thought they were part of what it is to be British that somehow they're not British. I think that's a very dangerous place for us to go as a country, and it goes against everything that I believe in.
Prime Minister, do you admire Nigel Farage as a politician?
I think he's a formidable politician, and of course, I think he's the opponent as we go into the next election. I don't think it's going to be Labour versus the Tories.
Do you admire
it's going
him
to be Labour against Reform. Look, I mean, he's a formidable politician. I'm not going to suggest otherwise. But fundamentally, what I don't admire is what he stands for, because I don't think he stands for the Britain that I know and I love.
Is he a dangerous politician? Do you think he is dangerous?
I think the fight at the next election is going to define us as a country for years to come. It is a really important political divide.
Do you think he's dangerous? Well, you've talked about it being a dangerous moment for the country. Do you think he's dangerous?
I think it's a dangerous moment for the country.
Do you think he's dangerous?
Well, look, I'm not going to get into labelling the man. I'm talking about the ideas and what he stands for and what I stand for.
So his ideas are dangerous?
Well, I think that taking our country down the road of toxic division, where you don't want to fix problems because if they're fixed you lose your reason to exist. I think that is dangerous for our country.
His ideas are dangerous.
I think that what that road that takes us to toxic division of not fixing our problems, I think that's a dangerous road for us to go down. I also don't think this is just about Labour. I think there are plenty of people who may or may not vote Labour who believe in patriotism in our country, who do not want to see it torn apart in this way. And I don't like to see minorities in this country feeling as scared as they do at the moment about what is or could happen to their country.
I'm gently trying to interrupt because I've got such a short amount of time, so if you don't mind. You called this a fight. You called this fight a battle for the soul of the nation. Do you know which other leader used that phrase in recent years?
I don't. I set out...
It was Joe Biden.
Well,
it was Joe Biden
maybe
ahead of the midterms in 2022. He did a speech about a battle for the soul of the nation, exactly the same language.
Beth, what happened is I started on the speech in about July, crafting in my own mind the argument that I wanted to make. The argument I made in my conference speech is the argument I wanted to make about who I am, what I stand for, and what I believe this country is. So this speech came very much from me, not from anybody else.
The reason that I referenced Joe Biden is, do you see why some of your MPs are nervous as they look across the pond at a leader who said he could take the fight to what he saw as the populist right, Donald Trump, and he lost that battle and he stayed on too long and he paved the way to that victory? Can you see why your MPs might be nervous, some of your supporters nervous that you're not the right guy for this fight?
Well, Beth, we had...
Do you accept that?
Friday of last week, progressive leaders here from Canada, from Australia,
Yes, but
from Norway, all of whom are centre-left politicians, all of whom had a battle against right-wing politics, and all of whom
do you
won.
worry
And
that
I
you
think
might
our
not be
party
the right man?
looks to those battles and can see the battle. I think if in the hall for my conference speech, you will have seen just how unifying this was for the Labour movement.
I know about the hall, but out there 30% of voters are saying they'll support Farage. Do you worry you might not be the right man for the job?
I won.
And that's nothing about your skills as a leader.
Let me answer that. Last year in July, we won a mandate for change in this country. I led my party into that. Before that, I took over as leader of our party, and people said to me, "You're not the right person to change the party." I said, "Yes, I am," and we did it. Then people said to me, "You'll never win an election." We went on and got a landslide victory. Now they say to me, "You're not able to change the country." We will change the country, and I will be judged at the next election. We had a 5-year mandate on whether living standards are better, whether the health service is better, and whether people feel more safe and secure than they did when we came into office. I'll be rightly judged against those conditions, and I will be able to meet that test.
And Andy Burnham, should he just shut up?
Well, Andy Burnham is doing a fantastic job as the Mayor of Manchester. I actually worked closely with him. We've reset that relationship between Westminster and our mayors, and we're working well together. So I've got no personal issue with Andy in the slightest.
OK, just want to ask you this. Donald Trump said under Sadiq Khan, London is being driven towards Sharia law, is it?
No, of course it's not.
Okay.
That's nonsense.
Isn't it that racist as well?
Well, it's nonsense.
Isn't it racist to accuse a Muslim mayor of driving London to Sharia law?
I'm not going to start down the road of discussing whether things said by others are racist or not.
Well, you just discussed Nigel Farage having a racist policy, so you literally are discussing that.
I have been really clear that the idea that in London we're introducing Sharia law is rubbish.
Is it racist?
It's rubbish.
OK, you're not going to say it. So you'll criticise Farage for it, but not Farage. Donald Trump said Sadiq Khan was a terrible, terrible mayor, among the worst in the world, is he?
No, of course he's not. He's doing a very good job as Mayor of London. And in fact, serious crime is down. And again, whether it's Andy Burnham or Sadiq Khan, we work very closely with our mayors.
Okay.
But I also have a very good relationship with Donald Trump, the President of the United States. We have a good personal relationship, and we work on behalf of our countries extremely closely together. And it's very important for the United Kingdom that I do so.
You do work with him well, but did you believe him when he said at Chequers that he didn't know who Lord Mandelson was? Did you believe Donald Trump when he said that?
I can't answer for the President of the United States in relation to the answers he gives at press
The reason I'm asking you, and there's a serious point here, does it not bother you when he says things that you know are not truthful and you won't actually call it out?
Well, what matters to me is that the relationship between the US and the UK on defence and security and intelligence is the closest relationship in the world. It is what helps to keep us safe in this country. And therefore, of course, I work closely with the United States President. Of course, I have a good personal relationship with him. That is good for our country. And nothing that other people say or do is going to detract or deflect me from my duty, my responsibility to make sure that our country is safe, secure, and that we have that special relationship that we do.
Prime Minister, you will lead Labour into the next general election.
I will lead Labour into the next general election.
OK, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank you.